Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to another video. My name is Danny, and on this channel we talk about bettering yourself from the inside out. So if bettering yourself is something you're into, then hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video with me. For those of you who don't know, I wrote a book. It's called Full of Yourself, A Guide to Becoming Your Most Audacious Self. And I've been going through each chapter in a series and highlighting its best. So we're closing up the book today. And this is our final chapter, conclusion, and just gathering everything together and moving on. So, in our last video, we spoke about creating a pleasure practice and being sexy AF. And today we're going to get into the final little touches of the book. So let's get into it. It makes me so happy but so sad every time I come to the end of my book, because it's a conclusion to have whoever is listening and following through with any of the tips I'm giving, their own little like wings to fly. And I put so much of my heart and my soul into my book, and I don't care if even one person reads it. It's just, the point is that I loved writing it. It felt so amazing to write it, and I can't wait to write more. When coming to the conclusion of I want my book to be called Full of Yourself, I wanted to continuously reiterate the fact that being full of yourself is putting yourself first and not only, because I know that the term like being full of yourself has a lot of negativity surrounding it, and that's okay, because a lot of words have a lot of negativity surrounding them, and I just want my book and my series here on YouTube to have a lot of positivity surrounding it. So it's okay what it was in the past. We are changing the dynamics because we are full of ourselves, queens and kings if you want to be. I wanted to kind of go over a couple little mini topics in my book. It's towards the end. It just gathers being full of yourself in every single subject, in every single situation. And I personally feel like once I started doing this, I started to see so much more growth, so much more positivity, so much more abundance in my life. Being full of yourself, unbothered. And this is a big one, and I wanted to start the chapter off with this one, as well as the video off with this one, in saying that being unbothered is going to take you some time. And that's completely fine, because that's how it is with anything. You're trying to make growth, you're trying to make stuff happen, you're trying to make Schmidt happen. It's going to take some growth. It's going to take some time. And when it comes to being unbothered, I want you to think about it like this. The scientific idea behind it is that emotions happen for 90 seconds and then they move. It's emotion, right? It's going. And so when you feel irritated about something, the best thing to do is, whether it's feeling irritation, whether it's being upset about something, or anger or sadness, is to take a breath. And in order to be unbothered, you really have to learn how to control that situation as far as like yourself goes. Now, you can't change anybody else. You can only change yourself. You can't change any outcomes. You can only change how you react about it. So being unbothered is going to take some time, because you have to be like, ooh, that person pissed me off so bad. Let me collect myself, because I don't want them to know. It's pissing me off driving down the road. I want to be unbothered about it and not let them take me out of my positive energy. So there's a couple ways to look at it, and being unbothered is definitely going to take some time. But if you think about, say, for example, I've always heard the queen of being unbothered is Beyonce. And of course, I don't know her personally. However, it does seem, before, I don't know how much now, just with like all this stuff in the media, but if anybody would say anything negative about her, you would never hear her popping off in the comments. You would never hear her making a retaliation video or retaliation song. As far as I know, she is the queen of being unbothered. And in that aspect, I think that we should take the idea from that and put it into our lives, as far as like, I don't want to give anybody the satisfaction of seeing me react in a negative way, because you don't have any influence over my energy, and I am the queen of being unbothered. So that's being full of yourself and being unbothered. The next topic is a little different, it's a little funny, is being full of yourself with returns, sending the food back, sending the coffee back, and just basically getting what you paid for. Me and my family, we've had this idea that like, if we're paying for something, there's no reason why we shouldn't get what we want. So if we have some food, we hate it, we're gonna send it back. We're not gonna do it with an attitude. We're not gonna do it and say, send this to the chef, he sucks, I wanna leave here and get my money back. No, we're gonna say, you know what? I actually wanted this to be blah, blah, blah. XYZ, whatever. Can you please remake it? Or can I maybe get something else because I wasn't expecting it to taste like this? Or, you know, if I see my coffee coming out of the Starbucks window and I know it's a different color than it should be, I'm gonna be like, it looks a little different. Let me try it to make sure I like it. I try it, I like it. If I don't, I'm like, can you please remake it? Because you're getting what you pay for. And this also goes to the same idea of being able to, like, say a pair of pants or a dress, if you don't like it and it's coming out of, the money is coming out of your pocket to wear it, to eat it, to drink it, for it to be in your home, it doesn't matter. You paid for it. You should get what you want, and you should feel completely able to send it back or say, hey, I just like can't eat this, it's terrible. No problem to the chef. I'm not going to be rude about it. I'm not going to say anything mean. I would just really like to have this instead because it would make me happy. And my experience here in this restaurant is to be happy. Now, if the customer service associate, the waiter, waitress, whatever, they have a problem with it, then that's on them. And that's where we got to go back to being unbothered and not having this attitude about it. If you don't want to remake my food or send it back or fix my coffee, we're gonna have to take it up a notch, and I'm gonna have to the manager because I'm gonna get what I want because I'm paying for it, because I'm worthy to get what I want, and because I'm a full of yourself goddess and I should get exactly what I paid for. Being full of yourself and saying no. We had a small talk about this previously, maybe a few times actually, and I do think it's worth noting that when you say no in the beginning, if you're not used to saying no, it's gonna feel a little uncomfortable. And I just want you to know it's normal. It's normal to feel uncomfortable in those situations. Just work through it. Continue to put your feelings and continue to put your emotions first. Continue to put yourself first. Continue to be a full of yourself queen or king, and understand that you get to say no. Being full of yourself in your magic and uniqueness. And I love the idea of this because I feel as if all of us have our own magic. We have our own uniqueness. We are all authentic to ourselves. So if you step into that authenticity and just genuinely be who you are, that is the highest point of vibration. That is the highest point of vibration. That is where you see somebody, they're being authentically themselves, and you're like, wow, I don't even know what it is about that person. They might not even be the most conventionally attractive person, but you're so attracted to them because they're being authentic. They're showing their magic and their uniqueness. And we all have it. So we have to find it inside of us and become full of ourselves and pull it out and shine bright with it. Being full of yourself and owning your bullshit. And I might have touched on this a little bit during the book. I'm trying to recall. I feel like I probably did, but it's very important to own your own shit. To know that when you mess up, say sorry. To know that when you forgot something, I forgot it. Like, holy shit, I should have set my reminder, or I should have made better notes on this, or maybe I have to redo something, or maybe I messed up so bad and I have to go to that person and just, talk to them about it. Whatever the situation is, it takes two to tango, and you have to understand whether it's in a romantic relationship, a platonic relationship, the relationship with yourself, the relationship with God and the universe and everything, you have to own your bullshit and take accountability for yourself and understand that that's okay. And the more you take accountability for yourself, the more you're like, okay, even though I messed up or I did this thing wrong, now I know how to correct it. I know how to correct myself. And I know how to hold myself accountable. And that is what is all about. But that's what it's all about with being full of yourself, is knowing that, like, even if you mess up, even if you have your own faults and your own bullshit, you can fix it and you can become better. You can align to your best self. Full of yourself and creativity. This one is, yes, might sound a little odd, but being creative and having this creative outlet in your life is going to keep you young. It's going to keep you able. It's going to keep you in small ways, in different ways. It's going to keep your mind snapping and cracking and snap, crackle, pop. When you think about being creative, you have to think there is so much. There's creativity in creativity. You can sew, you can draw, you can paint, you can create videos, you can create music, you can create all of these different things. Creating with your heart and your soul and putting that out there into the universe will reward creativity. And being creative is being feminine, and being creative is being abundant. And when you have that creativity and you say, listen, I know I've had a very long day, but right now there's some kind of like lyrics in my head. I don't know if it's a poem, I don't know if it's a song, but I'm gonna go write for 15 minutes and I'm gonna give myself this quiet time to just express myself creatively. And I feel like that's such a huge part in being full of yourself, is knowing when to give yourself that space, because we need it. We absolutely need it. And there are so many ways to be creative. Even if you had a pack of crayons and a coloring book and you're like, I fucking love coloring, I just want to sit down and color. You can get your kids involved and it could be a creativity night. My niece is always telling my sister, I love to do creative things. And I'm like, yes, girl, you love it. And this is how you should stay for your whole entire life. Always express yourself through your creativity, because that is what's going to get you that fun, vibrant life. Because it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're expressing yourself through creativeness and just like allowing that energy to be out in the world, you're making your mark and you're becoming full of yourself. Full of yourself and knowing your worth. Full of yourself and knowing your worth is obvious. You know what you want, you know what you don't want. This is where I have all my ideas come into lists, because it's like, if I'm having any type of person in my energy, in my atmosphere, my own personal atmosphere, that I have to have them in there, or I think I have to have them in there. If I know my worth and I know that maybe they're not treating me how I want them to treat me, if a conversation doesn't work, that's it. They're X'd out. You have to know your worth. You have to know your value, because that's what creates being full of yourself. And you're worthy of everything that you desire. So having that mentality and understanding that is going to put you way up here, aligning to your best self. Full of yourself in your finances. Being full of yourself in your finances is something that took me a while to understand, especially if you didn't grow up with people saying, hey, your credit is so important, or, you need a savings account, or let me teach you about stocks, and let me teach you about this, and now crypto, and all these things. Like, if you didn't grow up with somebody in your household that was trying to relay this message, it's now up to you to try to figure out what that means. What does it mean? I've bought countless books. I have listened to so many seminars and so many YouTube videos on trying to figure it out and learn for myself. And I love the idea that now, because before, many years ago, it was just mostly men, I love the idea now that a lot of women are stepping into the financial businesses and trying to relay the message that you also can understand what this means. It doesn't have to be coming from the opposite sex. You can also understand what this means. And another thing that I wanted to side note as far as finances go, a big thing that I've looked into is the feng shui of things. And I just want to give you a couple little tips, because I put them in my book and I just think they're so cool. Never leave your toilet seat up. It represents money going down the drain. Clear clutter. We spoke about this before in the episode of us cleaning and taking care of our space. It just kind of clears up physically and mentally, like our space and our mind. Purse on the floor equals money out the door, which before I even knew this, we never put our purse on the floor, just like me and my family, because we're like, ew, that's gross. But I see women doing this all the time, and I'm just like, girl, get your purse off the floor. Your money's going out the door. And then clean your front door. Cleaning your front door, if you spray it off, sweep it off, and then you spray it down with some essential oils. I usually use something with citrus. It's supposed to attract abundance. It's supposed to attract wealth. And full of yourself with everything else. It's just really important to understand being full of yourself is putting yourself first, and not only. So you're going to think about everybody, but you're going to put yourself first, because you're worthy and because you deserve it. So again, thank you so much for watching these episodes, and let me know if you have any feedback or if you have any questions or you just want to chat. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I will put that somewhere up right here. And yes, my book, it's available on Amazon, Kindle, and Barnes & Noble online. Stay tuned because I will be having so many more videos come out. And until next time, bye.